Okay, let's explore what we just talked about the head construction onto some real models, and we're gonna explore try from different from different angles and see how this whole planar of a head and all these important structures and some relationship of the head, how that apply to a real face. So let's start with this front view of this models. So first thing usually when I draw from life, first thing you have to ask yourself, because everybody's gonna be a little different. So I need to ask yourself what made this model different than than somebody else, and it's start kind of breaking it down. So what shape this person's face has is a round, is square, is more triangular, and what if you're gonna imagine doing a caricatures, how would you exaggerate his features? Like for example, if we do a Jan Leno, you're gonna do a big chin, stick it out. So that for that as an example. So for what I'm gonna so if I looking at this model, he's very structural, which is good for what we're gonna do, and he has also a very narrow face, has very deep eye socket, and so let's see. So first thing you do, what I'll draw is we can. If I'm gonna draw small, I might put few small like quick small heads on this page. So if I do it small, if I'm not gonna take this drawing to very extensive hours, I can just more let's treat it as more like quick sketch. Like I can start with the head. Start with the head in an egg. The reason why, okay, it helped me to get a something on the paper, a volume. So if it's too large, I can still shrink down smaller. So small, I can go back to larger sizes. I have that freedom. Versus if I go into more very slowly and kind of sculpt out carefully, laying down my drawing, that I'm kind of stuck there. Okay, but like I say for quick sketch, that's all I would do. Next thing earlier, I said I need a center line. And then of course I need some straight lines in there. So I need to go back in. I need to carve some of that jaw bones. Chin. I look at the hair shapes. See, that's the thing. If we look at the silhouette of his head, it's gonna be round. Like you can see that the side cranium is gonna be round, and that's gonna be a little tricky to draw because how do you know how round that's gonna be? But then if you're looking for the temple line, where the hair grows on the temple line, this section is fairly straight. And then like I said, I'm always aiming for straight because like it's easier to read and it's more easier to find find the symmetry and the placement. So if I come over here, instead of coming out, I'm going to come over here and put this straight line here, and then complete that shapes. And then you can look at this distance, looks like the ear, probably roughly about right here. Earlier I talked about I want to indent, I want to show that earlobe. So to me, the hair and the face are the two major shape on the head. I want to block those in first. Now that helped me to get likeness too. You can start with all the detail on the features. It's not going to help you to get much of likeness. So I wanted to always aim for the larger mass. Okay, so I know I talk about the eye sits in the middle of the head. Uh, well, for this view it can work because just looking straight on, but for deeper perspective problem not gonna work that well. So what I will do is I will still base on my observations. So I'll look very carefully, to see where the hairline, to see how much forehead I have. Or in this case, I think I have this part of the hair that I'm already drawn in. I can look at this distance to see where that top corner of his eyebrow is, and it's going to be roughly right here, and that's going to indicate where the top corner of the eyebrow, not the eyebrow line actually, because you'll notice if you draw, you kind of going to swing down like this, and that's where you actually the eyebrow line. Okay, but at least that's the closer distance. When I draw a front view, or if you've seen a lot on the frontal view, you really need to know where that corner of the eyebrow, because that can indicate where the front of the face meets the side. If it ends out you're making the eyebrow too short, and then ends out then you're making the eyes too close, and then you have this, a big wide cheek on the side, and that's gonna screw out the proportions. So in this case, you can look at him. He doesn't have a very wide cheek, so I want to make sure I block that correctly. I need to look for where that corner is. See, now that's my eyebrow line right here. And you can find the nose. Either you want, and here's my eyes. And the other difference is his eyes are really close to the bottom of his eyebrow, and that will be different than a lot of people have been drawn. Usually, you see a thicker eyelid, like the thicker eyelid below the eyebrow, but he has none. So he's a little different, and I need to keep that in mind. Okay. No, that can indicate that eye bag that he has. Just something, just a kind of a shape that I see that can help me give me that sense of that complete eye socket. So I kind of wanted to put that in, because again later I was find his place in his eyes more carefully in there later. So I still need to check my proportions. Okay, you can, for the nose, you can mark somewhere in between the eyebrow, halfway between the eyebrow to the chin, if you want to do that. Or I might use the shadow, which is has such a great shadows contrast. I can use shadow to help me. Show me roughly where's his nose gonna be. Okay, just that line right here, the philtrum. Remember I said I like to curve the lips, and he does have that too. I want to check. See, the thing, if I'm drawing the mouth, almost guessing where the mouth is, might be a little risky. So I'm going to do what I did with the eyebrow. I'm going to look down for how far the nose down to the tip of the lips. Okay, so that's a shorter distance. And ask yourself what type of lip does he has. Everybody's a little different. Some have thicker lips, some have a more thinner lips. He has kind of thinner lips. What kind of? And also be aware of the difference between upper and lower lips. Looks like his lower lips a little bit slightly thinner than the upper lips. And this is the shadow I talked about earlier. I want to get a sense of that cheek structure. That's the shadows coming from the side. Just that cheek coming toward the chin. Like I say, this is that, again, that rhythm coming through into the ear. Okay, so you can see how the kind of the hardcore constructions that's going on. Let's move. Let's work on find the eyes. So we'll try to find the eyes. I talk about like the eyebrow line, the eye line, draw that 45-degree line. In this case, his eyebrow and the eye is really close. Like different than the lecture I did, but still same concept. You can draw that triangle shape, help to indicate where the eye's gonna sit, or like I said, roughly gonna be the width of the nose. Normally, I would draw eyeball first, and then indicate the eyes in it. But again, since his eye is not so hard to see the eyeball, he's so rigid his eyes. So I'm just gonna draw the eyes itself. Drawing through to make sure get those eyes aligned, both sides. Again, still checking proportions to see do I have the right space. Step back and check. Okay, I don't want to take this to a full renderings, but as you can see, this is going to be my constructions drawings. I'm gonna put some tones in there so it doesn't look, just in a line drawings, but I'm not gonna take it to again, like I said, the full rendering. So you can just get a feel of a value on him. So this is gonna be like a more quicker way to do, again, like I said, quick sketch kind of technique. So I'm gonna just go right to the gesture of his hair. My brush strokes, my charcoal strokes, whatever you use, I'm gonna indicate that, get that sense of energy and the gesture right away. Earlier I say still want to have the base of the eye area. Okay, so first thing you notice, like that keystone, right? It's dropping the shadows on both sides. This side you got some cast shadow from the from the eye, so you got that big old a hook shape, but overall, squint your eyes. When things gets complicated, it gets a little confused, squint your eyes. So I'm gonna put that shadow right in here, and here's my eyebrow. You see how this cat shadow comes in like this? That kind of helps to indicate the side plane of the nose. Again, I'm actually just copying the light and dark patterns. Step back. So again, I want to get that socket. Okay, so I'm just gonna put down some key shadows, and that means just a darker area. Looks like he has a little more, slightly more square chin. Bridge of the nose, the bowl. Here's the bowl of the nose. Front of the forehead, side of the forehead. You see how, right here, you see how the shadow bumps over? You see a little highlight, little light right in there? Remember earlier, done the lectures, remember that visor that goes over on the top? You said two, there's one right here and one goes in. See how that's what that visor does? That's this bulge right here. It's gonna kick out the shadows, open like that. So for quick sketches, I just gonna copy my shadow shapes. And watch out for these, the whole flow, the whole rhythms of the eyes into the ear too, or into the cheekbones. So I want to let me get this. Just pop up. So how does everything that's relate? This hairline right here, earlier you can see on the reference, it's a pretty firm line, right? That's my advantage to show some separations. And then we got some softer edges. Somewhere here is quite firm too. And this so what happened is this is gonna continue around to this firm edges here and take it right into our ear. I'm just copying the shadow shape again. Be aware how everything relates. And do the same thing. Firm that edges. Push out that cheekbones. That highlight spot right here, and this here's where the front meets the side, so all the side has to be a little bit darker. I can't just leave white. The paper of the wire of the paper had to kind of tone it down a little bit. So all this is side plane goes into that cheek, again top, side, front, side. You can see from reference, this comes out, flares out, and then goes right into the highlight right here in the corner. That indicates also with the corner of the nose. The highlight sits at the corner too. Highlight sits on the corner. Highlight sits on the corner. You can see there's a highlight right here. Highlight also going to be right here. We're going to have talk about more in depth on the light, how to render on the head, but you know, that's where just kind of show you guys those areas are going to be where the highlight kind of sits. Remember, cheekbone right about in the middle of the ear. chisel, chisel. Okay, so let's explore another view. Let's see. Okay, so we have a 3/4 view. Okay, so let me see where I'm going to put this. I guess I can put it right here. So I'm going to block in first. Again, if I draw an A, going to help me to see how can I control light to see where I want to place the head. And if I wanted the whole page looks like a sketchbook pages, it can help me to do that. Next thing I need to start sculpting. Step back, look at, always be aware of the overall relationships. The major shape, the heads, and then the hair. Center line. Still need more information. I need to find that corner of the eyebrow, right? It swings back in like this, goes to my, and it goes to my eyebrow line, and that's when this plane kind of steps back. I need to define where where that corner of the eyebrow is. And here's the cheek goes to the chin. Earlier I say I always like to start from the further side first. Goes to the keystone, to my nose. Be aware of distance. Be aware of where nose, how far the nose away from the side of the face. Okay, so come up from the further side and come and just check out this distance. See how that parallel box right here? Here's the eyebrow line. His eyebrow sits right above. It looks like a wedge, big, kind of large wedge shape of his eyebrow. And this one, you kind of definitely hooks up like this. But these points still has to kind of line up. And then you come down to this. The side plane. Here's the side plane of that forehead. And so if you look very carefully, then there's actually a corner plane start from really quick right here. And you can notice the eyebrows start kind of angling down this way right here. and then actually more, it kind of comes down like this, right? So you can remember, there's the front corner and then the side. Here's the eyeball. Okay. Here's the tear dot, and let me get to the eyes later, and I want to get the major structure in there first. Okay, so the mouth has a barrel, so I want to make sure it protrudes out, and they can measure to see where this side of the mouth is, and it compares to this side. You can use even sometimes use even the mustache here to help me to see how far it needs to come into extends out. Okay, the shadow from the below the lower lips. The forehead bumps out, go back into the socket. The cheek bumps out, goes right behind the nose, and then the muzzle protrudes out. And we see back into the chin box protrudes out. So the corner of the chin also lines out to the eyes. So I know this part on this side, the corner of the chin is going to be roughly right here. Line out to the corner of my lips. And you can see some bone structure happening, and you see the zygomatic arch. Here's I'm going to use, here's the hair right here, and swing back to the ear. Measure the eyebrow to the ear. Sometimes, like I said, in the diagram, I say the top eyebrow lines out to the top of the ear, and the nose lines out to the bottom of the ear. But sometimes some model might look different. In this case, it looks like his ear almost a little bit higher than the eyebrow. So all I need just to indicate, at this point, I'll just indicate the shadows on the ear. See how the cheekbone follow with the eye bag, the cheekbone swing back right here. Kick back and comes forward and swing towards the chin. And all this looks like it dropped into the shadows, up down to his neck. We still have to define some structure in here. All the bottom of the jar looks like it's receiving some reflected light down from his chest. So here is if I'm going to construct this, here's actually the physical jar bones. Going to sit right here. So everything down here, this is the bottom plane of the jaw. That's where the reflection that hits. So instead, kind of take my eraser to make that lighter, which I still want to group them into my shadow group. I now probably better to make the surrounding area darker. To make that feel a bit lighter. Ball, the nose, the wing of the nose. Okay, that deep socket from the keystone. Make sure be really aware of this shadow shape right here. That's gonna make the whole design looks good if you really careful craft out this shadow shape right here. Remember the front plane, just a little bit front plane indicate where it help to give that symmetry, help to set the beginning of the eyebrow. So drawing through. You see that beautiful hook shape of the eyebrow that swing into, and look at this native space right, at this eyelid space right here. So drop them down into shadows. Looks like there's, because his eye socket is so deep, they're going to create a lot of shadows on him. back, double check. And then again, always be aware of how you organize your shapes. This right here, what I have there, is not good because just kind of a you know a kind of a mess from the charcoal blending, and so you want to make sure everything has to be refined to a clear relationship, shape relationships. So what if you look very carefully, if it ends right here, that's the side plane, the forehead, and it looks like it has also has this kind of a wedge shape to finish out this whole structure in here. This is probably going to look a little harsh because I'm just looking, it's just for a demo, showing as a demo, but it's going to be a little bit soft. It's going to be a little bit softer. So again, you have that light that picking right into that visor, this arch right here. So what happened? The shadow will come down. Will come down and kick back, and actually then it's gonna kick forward like that. Can probably give some character. Let's put a little bit. Let me zoom this out. Let me put some of the mustache in there. So that kind of helps to connect the nose to the to the mouth too. This comes in and it kind of comes out like this, and feel like it swings around. Remember that the A shape underneath the muzzle and the corner of the muzzle, the lower muzzle. Okay, so that's a 3/4 view. Okay, let's say explore a low angle view. So we got this kind of profile looking from way below. And so first thing I want to do, again, I want to, to block in. I have about that much spaces I need to work with. So I'm going to keep this one a little bit small. And so I want to able to plan that, to plan that, I need to have the overall the overall shape of the drawing. So I got the back of the head. So you can see I work with a lot of angles and those diagonal relationships. I kind of really draw a round shape unless like the hair right here is the less kind of less, I guess less crucial. I can keep it a little bit expressive, but most of the time gonna be pretty like sculpting my laying. Check this distance. I brought to the ear. Earlier I say draw the ear in an angle. I need a little more top of the head. So I'm gonna add more mass. The top back cranium is higher than the front. So you can see that on the skull too. So I need to raise the back up a little bit higher. Okay, so we're looking at a volume going like this. So everything you can see has this diagonal. My eye socket, my bottom of the nose, and also my lip has to turn down this way. Okay. The thing also we have to know about head structure is that everything you can see it from the skull. You can notice if you're looking on the profile, everything below the nose are protruding forward, right? So you can see the eyes, the forehead, eyes is flat, but when it gets below the eyes, not below the nose, or below the eyes, everything starts protrude, the feature protruding forward, the nose protruding forward, the mouth protruding forward. Okay, that's why if actually we're looking at a profile, you got actually three planes: the forehead, the nose, and then the chin. So we're looking at. Let's just say if we look, let's say we're looking at straight on view. Here's the face, and I think I use a hockey mask as an idea. Which what we have is you got this plane, which is the forehead, and you got the middle sections, and then you got the bottom part of it, which is the mouth. And so this is going to help to kind of indicate this plane, and this plane. So everything protruding forward. So like hockey mask, and we can go over this or like this. So we got this volume here. So you got this plane, this plane, this plane. You see how the face works three-dimensional like this. So when you draw in a profile, make sure here's my my bump of my my broad ridge, but you have to be careful in this case because you don't want to just do, like I said, when you draw a round shape, that sometimes can get so cruel and just lose some important details, and that detail can make a huge difference to your drawings. Right now, if you look at the pictures, actually you also get front of his forehead just a little bit, and then turn to the side. See, all this indicate the front plane, and then tucks it into. You gotta. I don't know how well you can see this. Almost looks like a overlaps shape. You got this guy right here and the guy a little bit behind, which is from the broad ridge, that help to indicate that perspective. And then the nose kicks out below that. The eye sits back because the eye hat sits inside the socket to protect the eyeball, like I said earlier. It says kind of back in here. Okay, then you have to be aware of how much nose you see in front of the eyes. For Asian we have less bridge, so this might be shorter, and somebody had a higher bridge, the nose can stand out pretty high away from the eyes. So if I'm just only copying of the shadow shape, that's something that you will see. And see the cheek line swing back. We can still get the sense of that rhythm swing back toward his ear. The mustache kicks back, so something pushing forward, something that pushed back. Nose push forward. The lips push back. Upper lips darker. So you got, again, you have all this perspective we're dealing with. Front to the side, that little bit of bottom of the nose is in front. The wing right here or the nostril right here can indicate the side, the front of the lips and to the side of the lips. Even that little shadow right here at the bottom where the chin protrudes out, that can also indicate that front plane. Here again, that's that side of forehead, and then this bump over the cheekbones. Right in here. Okay, so so we have explored at least 3 views right here. We have almost like a down shot of profile, and we have here we had a frontal view, and also three quarter view. Okay, it's a kind of like I said earlier, it's a kind of a quick indications of kind of applying what I'm just showing you on the first lecture of this construction of the head, using that idea, applying to some few circumstances. Okay, but so you can see how important it is need to be able to remember that structures, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully you can draw that mannequin of the head in any given view of your head, and that can really apply to when you're drawing from a real life situations. Later on, we're gonna talk more in depth on the light and shadow, and how does the light and shadow value that help to reinforce the likeness, and help to reinforce the even more of the structures and value and volume on the head. Okay.